Hey everyone, thank you for joining our Scratch event. We're testing out some short pieces that were created by our five amazing artists who we commissioned. This is part of a research project into how Anthropology can use the software we've created for our show to support other artists to make online live interactive performances. Um, we're going to take things slowly and let things be a little rough around the edges because this is all experimental short pieces. Each piece operates slightly differently. So we'll have like a few minutes break in between each performance. You are probably seeing this right now on anthropology.com/scratch. At the top of that page, you've got some links to the different shows. So we're going to start at the top with Erin's piece in a moment. So if you just click that link, or go directly to anthropology.com/scratch slash the number one. That'll get you to a page where you can interact with Erin's piece. A couple of access notes. Unfortunately, we don't have a BSL interpreter this time. We weren't able to get that sorted out. So apologies for that. We do have subtitles for most of the pieces. So you will see those as part of the YouTube feed that you're looking at now. Just a note regarding content. A couple of these pieces have strong language and sexual references, so not recommended for children. And at the end of the evening, we're going to have a Q&A session. So you'll be directed to come back to this page, anthropology.com/scratch, at the end where we can see the YouTube chat and we can have a little chat about everything that we've learned tonight. So yeah, please click the link at the top of this page to Erin's piece or go to anthropology.com/scratch slash number one. And Erin's piece will start very soon. Thanks so much.
Firstly, I am the only actor here. Everyone else is a player, someone reading this text for the first time and playing with what you're given. This game is about dating apps and romance. The tone is tongue-in-cheek comedy. If it was a film, it would be rated a 15. Please don't include any sexually explicit or hateful content. So, welcome to Hive and Seek, the only dating app specifically designed for hive minds and those that want to date them. First of all, let's meet tonight's dates. Fun fact, with so many brains, it's common for a hive mind to get confused about their name. Sometimes the individual bodies each have their own name as well. There's so much to keep track of, even with billions of brain cells. This is yet another reason why hive minds make great dating partners. Maybe one brain doesn't remember whose turn it is to do the dishes, but another of the hive's brains will. You never need to argue. So, matches, why not introduce yourselves? Match one, give us a short introduction about yourself. Your name, a hobby, a favorite food, perhaps?
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I love being in the outdoors. I love being in the woods. I love sports a lot, but you don't need to. We can just walk in the woods and like look at trees and stuff. And I also really like when it comes to food. I'm a huge Italian guy. I love like lasagna and pizza and stuff like that. Was there anything else?
That's fine. Match two, give us a short introduction about yourself. Your name, your favorite animal, and what you had for breakfast, perhaps?
Um, I'm Brody, and I think my favorite animal is a party animal, but not because I am one, but I can observe them at my job, and I think that's nice. And I ate eggs. I just tried them sunny side up.
Match three, give us a short introduction about yourself. Your name, whether you prefer dogs or cats, and a celebrity crush, perhaps?
Hey, I'm Braxton, he, him pronouns. I'm 22, hashtag virgin, hashtag soaker, hashtag snowboarding, recent grad from BYU. I do business marketing. And I would have to say I'm a dog person, and my celebrity crush has got to be Joan Vassos, the Golden Bachelorette. Mega MILF.
So, match one, what makes you want to date a hive mind?
I think it's interesting to think about how we're all interconnected and much more so than we think. We're all people who live on this planet and we're not as different as we may think sometimes. It's also interesting to think about like dating something that's a conglomerate of different people, how that might make you think about your individuality. I just think it sounds cool.
Match two, what makes you want to date a hive mind?
Um, I'm kind of like my hopes with dating is that I will like figure out who I am because I have like a work personality and a friend personality, and I feel like if the hive mind has a lot of personalities, they like know what it's like, and maybe hopefully that will like help because that's like one thing that I want to know who like I am like inside or whatever.
Match three, what makes you want to date a hive mind?
I mean, it's something the prophets and ancients did in a way. So, like polygyny is not like out of the question. And I'm looking to like settle down and start a family. So for the parts of the hive mind that I don't fully click with, it's like instant family dynamic. It's a little outside of my comfort zone, but I'm here to try new things.
It's time to decide who you want to date and if you want to date. So, lovely hive mind, who do you want to go on a date with? Would you rather a night alone? So, match one. Do you accept a date with the lovely hive mind?
I'd be thrilled.
Well, my work here is done. Enjoy your time off app. I'm sure we'll see you back soon enough.
We emerge into the scratchiest of scratch pieces. You, dear students, will be asked to interject, answer questions, and where the code allows, shape the story. It's 2020. Mr. Key, a young-ish black man, sits impatiently. And so it's clear to you, student, it's here in this space where I will encourage you to interact and remind you of the questions on screen. When the light is on, we are with Mr. Key, and when it's off, you're with me. With that, we begin in any other class. Does anyone have any thoughts on the Browning poem at all? No? See, guys, you know, this isn't fun. So can we just, you know, can we have our cameras on next week? I guess for now it's fine. If you want to just type in the chat or use your emojis or whatever, then yeah, go ahead. But just yeah. So, could I get an understanding of who did the readings recently? No? Okay. It's fine. All right, well, thanks for that. It was a good poem. Okay, that you could tell me love or okay, you think about love or loneliness. Okay, you don't futility. These are all vague. Your mum. Okay, so let's keep things working appropriately here. I would expect or hope a level of maturity to occur in this group. So I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to ask you guys to maybe do some writing, some appropriate writing for the next 5 minutes on the worksheet, if you will. I'm just going to mute myself and yeah, please get some work done. Hi, yeah, Kelly. I know. I know you said I'm just calling because I know you said that we weren't really friends because you don't sleep with friends and I understand that. But if I'd have known, if you'd have told me at our Christmas do that it was a choice between like a fuck or a friendship, then I'd have ripped off my elf outfit and taken you to my favorite coffee shop. And it's not that I didn't it's not that it's not that I didn't like you, you know. I mean, I was whew. But um I just I just feel like there's something here, or I I I feel like like we should talk. Um fuck, 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 um fuck. Did you hear that? Or uh okay, yeah, that okay, yes. I I just I'm I'm not lucky in love, I guess. I'm fucking hopeless. So yeah, if thank you, guys. This is inappropriate. This is very inappropriate. I shouldn't um I don't you know, you just wake up morning and you stumble into life and I just hey, hey, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna call. And you guys are gonna give me some advice. So thank you. Um, hey, yeah, Miss Kelly. Listen to my. Did you listen to my? No. Okay, good. Just delete it. Okay, I just wanted to talk about the Christmas party. No, don't worry, it's not that. It's not that kind of cool. My equipment is squeaky clean, if you catch my drift. Yeah, there'll be no angels in America. Uh, um, Yeah. I imagine that if you like 7 minutes in heaven, get ready for eternity and all that. It's not what we're talking or calling about. No, shit, fuck. Okay, that doesn't make sense. So, uh, look, it's you, it's you. Since I was assigned to observe your class, it's always been you, and little Kayla wouldn't. None of that is important. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out the family thing. She wouldn't have to call you anything. You didn't want her to call you, but these days every mum has two kids, so it's not to worry. We can make this work. Yeah. I guess I just wanted to say, I just wanted to say, what did I want to say? I wanted to talk about us. I wanted to I wanted to I wanted to let you know that we're good, that we can be good. Maybe. Does that make sense? I don't think it makes any sense. What should I say? I value your opinions. That's it. It's that I value your opinions as a woman, as a leader, and I like you. I like you a lot. Um, and I'm bad at this, and you can tell I'm bad at this. Um, and I'd like to see you, and I'd like to spend time with you in person. Um, and maybe let's talk later. Does that sound good? I think that sounds good. Hey, that's it. That's it. We're going to talk later, and you know, if you can, if we can make this work, if you can respect me in the sheets and in the streets, then I think we can see this through. Um, No, no, don't worry. I'm not I'm not talking about marriage. It's not I'm not insane. We just, we got time to figure out what works. I'm 3 marriages down. I've got this figured out, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, well, I blame the priest. So how about it? Um uh She hung up. Um, fuck. Oh, hey. Um, Class, yeah, just please tell Kelly. Please tell Miss Redbridge, or don't tell Miss Redbridge any of this in your next class. Um, Complete the tasks on page 55, and yeah, we'll ignore that this ever happened. I'm going to mute myself now and deal with the actions of my the consequences of my actions. Hey, Kima. Yeah, last night was whew, look, um no, no, look, we can't do this right now. I'm at work. But you know, Shannon is taking Kayla to her grandparents in February. So if you wanted to do all of that again, then we might. Yeah, if you're around, I've got my car tonight.
Hello. Are you there? I hope you are. You've paid for an exclusive service. I want you to get your money's worth. I make dreams for billionaires. You've never heard of me or my job. This is experimental technology. The rich have access to all kinds of services, and people like me provide them. But just because I work for them doesn't mean I like them. That's where you come in. Tonight, I'm going to take you into the collective unconscious. We are gonna get inside their heads. We are gonna fuck up a billionaire's dream tonight. This is a bespoke experience. It's personalized. And because it is, you're going to have to do a little bit more than sit back and relax. Every now and then, you have to lean forward and pick an option that's given to you. The more honest you are, the more fun we'll have. I'm here to make sure you have a good time. Is this safe? Put it this way, you have less chance of long-term cognitive impairment than a COVID infection. So let's minimize still the risks of psychic damage. Follow my instructions and I'll keep you safe. Touch your device with one hand. Now take your other hand and draw this symbol on your face. Okay, do exactly as I do. So, have you drawn this symbol? Have you done it? Come on, make sure that you have. Well, I really hope you have. Like I said, this is experimental technology. It can be unpredictable. You have to trust me. People can get lost in dreams. They come out changed. Maybe we were never supposed to surf the collective unconscious. But it's a new frontier and we have the technology. We can't help ourselves and there's no one here to stop us. So here we go, I guess. Anyway, what have you really got to lose? Clearly, you're all here because something is deeply, terribly wrong with your lives. Exactly. You're angry. You're frustrated. You feel powerless. You're probably a bunch of perverts, leftists, and queers. Don't get me wrong. You're my kind of people, but isn't it tiring to be so morally righteous all the time? What's wrong in having a little bit of fun while the world collapses? Let's be petty little animals together. Let's give in to some shitty impulses. Let's go fuck up a billionaire's dream. It won't do anyone but us any good, but that's enough for tonight, isn't it? It should be. Sorry. Touch your device, close your eyes, remember the symbol. Let's go. Okay. A tech billionaire's dream. Well, it's a good choice. The tech billionaire's dream is an ugly, AI-managed mansion on a seastead, floating above a roiling digital ocean of tired memes and NFTs. A vast statue of himself rides in liquid titanium on the front lawn. Clone dogs frolic around it. Oh, damn, they've noticed me. We can't really get any closer until we calm these animals down. Those startup ideas that I asked you to write in would come in, like, really handy right now. Anyone have any thoughts? Flower deliveries for busy pets? I guess that'll do. Chairs that shout at you when you sit on them too long. Oh, that's a good one. Phew. Okay, I think that worked. Really bad startup ideas are the only thing that calms these animals down. All right, back to the dream. Okay, so his house is actually genuinely so horrible that it's hard to imagine how to make it worse, but let's try. How shall we destroy this dream? All right, come on, my lovelies. Let's pick. And an interesting choice. How did you guys know that he was insecure about his coding skills? All right, no need to be fancy here. Let's just use basic psychology. The AI has the face and voice of his ex-wife, so let's reprogram it into his father instead. Let's turn what he loves against him, desecrate it. I describe the dream, but it's really you guys that destroy it, okay? So hold that image in his head. See the AI's face turning into his father. All right, everyone together. Dreams are symbols, and we can alter them with our collective will. So will your choice into being. Touch your device and will it into being. I can't do it alone. I need you, all of you. Oh yeah, that's good. That's perfect. All right, let's get out of here. Did that feel good? Yeah, it did. See, I give people like you a chance to get your own back. The rich and powerful, they're so insulated from us. But I can get you right inside their dreams, past all of the defenses. Doesn't that make up for taking their money? And when it all gets too much, I do this. Kick them around a little bit. Get a little petty revenge. It works. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. Wow. Really? You think I'm not happy? I am one of those rare and elusive beasts, a creative practitioner in 2024 with a pension. Survive till 25, not me, baby. Plus, my job isn't threatened by AI. Not right now, anyway, and I plan to retire before then, and I can, you know. Are you sure you're not just jealous? I mean, that's how I justify it anyway. I don't know anymore. The truth is, I have dreams. I think I have their dreams sometimes, like billionaire dreams. And they're eating. They're always eating. They dream of this kind of hunger that's really disturbing to comprehend. They could eat the whole world and still be hungry, and there are stars in their eyes and this void. Every time I think about it, I try not to think about it. I really don't think continuing to think about it is a good idea. It just feels like something may just like crack open. Anyway, this isn't about me. This is about you. So, right, we all want lives that are moral and meaningful and also joyous, right? Like, by joyous, I don't mean like happy, being happy. More like being able to routinely access the joy of being alive. Sound like a freaking YouTube guru. Let me assure you, the closest I come to spiritual practice is going to all-day raves. Look, we all want all three. Meaning, morality, joy. But that's almost impossible in this late capitalist techno-hellscape that compromises us at every turn. So, if you had to pick one, which one's the most important? Sweet, but no. The answer is all three, my darlings. You just have to be a little bit flexible on the morals. Look, I'm not saying it's your fault if you haven't figured it out. You know, not everyone's as lucky as me. Privileged, whatever. But if you are, and a lot of you are, what are you even doing floundering around feeling sorry for yourselves? The system's out to fuck us, but God, it feels good to dance on the teeth, to refuse to be miserable. And I refuse. Anyway, enough about all of that. Who do we think we are, trying to make sense of this stupid bullshit lovely life? just keep feeling guilty and grateful, grateful and guilty. Can you really think of anything better to do tonight than fuck up a billionaire's dream? Because I can't. Excellent, thank you all. That's just the end of this Scratch performance. It's just the opening of this much longer piece. And I really appreciate you all bearing with me through that and bearing with the fact that it wasn't performed by a real actor and with me standing in for that. So I really appreciate your time, and I hope you'll stick around until after the end to give us all some feedback. Thank you.
Greetings, Calvin. I am truly so incredibly grateful and honored and privileged, really, that you have allowed me to present to you at all in this very important order. My name is Juniper, and I am amidst my training in the extremely mystical region of the United States that is known as Hollywood. I also want to introduce you to my familiar Riker. He is also part of defending this thesis to y'all today. And we're just, wow, we're both just really immersed in studying the craft. And so what we are presenting to you today, I am presenting to you the widely British Coven, because I dream of being in an internationally recognized space as a witch. And also because I have internalized my oppression and I seek British approval. So my high priestess has been extremely preoccupied. And by that, I mean, she doesn't really think I'm going to be able to defend my thesis. So she has glossed over my presentation entirely out here in Burbank. In fact, and I mean, she hasn't been able to fully approve this presentation, which I am also fine with because, y'all, I am in crisis. And I need your help, wise witches, because with something that is just really important to me, it's my dream date. And together today, with all of our like incredible powers combined, we are going to conjure my dream date. I've never been on a dream date. I don't know how many of y'all have out in the UK, but I don't have a dream date, and I am desperately lonely. I mean, and so I need your help, and I am extremely grateful again for your time and that we are all gathered here today for this presentation. Now, let's begin. So the first question is, what is the ultimate dream date's aesthetic? And so we're just going to conjure the right aesthetic, which could be goth vibes, duh, because I mean, the coven, am I right? But also pastels, because there is such a thing as a pastel goth, and opposites do attract. And also, the third option, of course, to conjure is the fact that colors don't matter as long as they fancy. I mean, this is a dream date, am I right? So we're just going through that, and the winner was goth vibes. Duh. Okay, that makes sense. We are a coven, so great. I'm glad that we've conjured that. Now, my question to y'all is, if that outfit worn by our dream date were bewitched as it should be, what kind of stand would it take on the housing crisis here in Los Angeles and the world over? Like, it's a, you know, it's an important thing to consider. What it would stand. I mean, it's a fit, but as we know, there are capes that have multiple powers, and it's a good thing to consider. And there were answers to that you said that were beautiful. So my next question is, where does the ultimate dream date take you? My question, the response could be to the theater. That's a really nice place to go. To a punk show, also a fan. But also a candlelit dinner is something that I think would be really good for a dream date to do. So as we think about this and this goth vibe of our dream date, it does seem like to a punk show, a bunch of goths going to a punk show, there is going to be peace on earth through magic, that the goths at the punk show will be celebrated. So my question is, if this dream date were addressing the war on Gaza, what commitments would this punk show in a goth fit, like what would they be, what kind of statements would they be making? Because this is something that, in my studies and our studies here in magic, I'm trying to sort of understand, and that I was thinking we should consider, because there are certain affairs going down that makes me feel like we are peace. So I think peace and freedom for Palestine is something that I'm lacking in a sort of larger context here in the United States about this. And a ceasefire now, a ceasefire that means exactly that, a ceasefire, an arms embargo, 100%. That is what's going to go down at this dream date, and food, not bombs. And everyone involved tried for war crimes. I think that the goths and the punks can come together on this, and a land acknowledgement that actually did something. As a student of the craft, I do agree that the land acknowledgements got to actually conjure something, and maybe they could conjure, peace for Palestine and freedom for Palestine and no borders and no nations. I just want to celebrate my familiar right now. He is just really doing so well at conjuring. Something about Netanyahu was happening, and I do agree. Fuck that man. So, okay, so then the next thought about this dream date that we're going to go on is the traits. Let's conjure the traits of my dream date. Now, this could be a social and charismatic person, which would sort of match my qualities, of course. But however, an opposite for me would be a dark and academic character. I mean, I am a dark character, but not, not in that way. So a dark academic is wonderful. But then also you've got that hilarious and strapping kind of human being that just is a wonderful person to go on a date with. And it sounds like we won. Which one did we get? A good one. That was, which one was the winner? I didn't see. But anyway, I'm sure it was really good. So my question is, if this was it, I think it was dark and academic. If this dark and academic person were to speak about the national and international possibilities of citizens of the UK and the US becoming climate refugees as a result of climate change, if it could say something about climate change, what would it say? I mean, we've already understood where we're at regarding, global issues regarding human like human sovereignty, but I'm super like curious about we need degrowth and post-extractivism. This is where I feel that witches, you know, we're not taking a strong enough stand, if I may, British Coven. I know y'all have taken strong stands, at least your ancestors have in the past, but I'm thinking, you know, we could come together here to break fossil capital's grip on the economy in all of the kind of global, you know, north in order to change the tide for the first fucking time in our collective history by becoming mermaids. All right, I once had like a fling with a mermaid, but I don't know where we don't really talk anymore because she tried to kill me. And I don't know about that, but maybe y'all have good relationships. You would, I guess, all those that ship sailing y'all have done has really been a lot. Speaking of broccoli, this is out of season. Broccoli is out of season? That makes some sense. I wouldn't know with all the imported vegetables going on, but people need to recognize we're in the middle of this. It's not a future issue. I agree, which is why I am presenting as such with this thesis, which is to stop prosecuting protesters as witches. We understand unfair prosecution, and I just think becoming an octopus is maybe safer for me than a mermaid. I don't really want to get involved with those girls anymore. I'm full on, you know, I like that. At least they're underwater all the time. I'm not doing up and down. It's just that it's a lot. It was a lot for me. So we can send the billionaires to space, but see, I think we might have to get some wizards involved, like some kind, like, you know, what are those ones from Lord of the Rings? They're kind of out of space. They were sort of gods. Gandalf is kind of one of them. Anyway, I think we should talk to those men who I'm sure are very kind people. So, great. My next question is that I'm wondering if anyone knows when. So because I'm running out of time for us to conjure because I have a short presentation to y'all. Thank you for your time. I'm wondering if anyone knows when my dream date that takes place in the USA actually is. It's coming up real soon. So like there is an actual dream date. There's a date for this. I mean, it's a person, but it's also a literal date. And being as y'all are from, you know, not living out here in Hollywood, I'm sure you may not know exactly when it is, but it's kind of coming up soon. And I'm asking that question because it was yesterday. Oh God, no, it was not yesterday. That would be sort of a relief, even though I'm terrified. It would sort of be a relief if it was yesterday. It's actually in the future. In the 29th of October, you're getting a little bit closer, but you're not quite there, Coven. I know that if we all like, you know, Elikanamen a little bit, we can like, I think you might know it. I'm also happy to share it. If you're like, I don't know when Juniper's dream date. Do you remember the 21st night of September? That is also in the past, which is New Year's in the future, but let's bring a little bit between, okay? The like not quite that far, not quite. All right, it's all right. Y'all not from here. It is happening on 31st of October. You're getting closer. To put a little bit more into the future. It's well, it's November 5th. Okay, November 5th is my my dream date that is coming up. And I'm really looking for someone who dresses really well and will take me to will take me to the punk show. And their personality is a stunning, you know, dark academic. But even more than that, regarding housing and war and climate, they are just like truly on the pulse. They are actually way more progressive than I've even frankly seen my high priestess be out here. I'm just like, are we witches or are we like, you know, human men? Do you know what I'm saying? Like what are we? So because I'm here, the reason is because I am failing my witchcraft examinations, because no matter what I do, I cannot conjure the dream date for the dream date. You know what I'm saying? The date itself is set for November 5th, and I don't actually have what I want, what I need as a self-respecting witch living in this world right now. There are so many reasons why I can't have it exactly as I deserve it, but I'm trying to understand why we can't make otherworldly magic work. Like, why can't we make it work? So I don't need a romance necessarily, like, for this dream date. What I need is a leader. I can't have a leader, and so I need magic. But our magic is useless feeling in this moment right now, and in the moment before, and the year before, and the days before. It's feeling kind of useless, and I may never again I may never gain entry into the Hollywood Coven, you know what I'm saying? And I need your approval now and your high marks to help me, but I'm afraid that I failed at that. So even if you're not gonna give me some high marks on this and approve this defense, I'm wondering what should I do if, like, November 5th is coming and my magic is useless, at least as far as I understand it. What do y'all think I should do? I have hearts and I have damn, and I do blame my damn heart for caring so much, you know. I wonder what it would be like if I could just I will vote. I will vote even though I don't like my options. I'm gonna do it anyway because it just I just wish voting felt more like magic feels sometimes, you know. And I will try not to lose hope. Because voting is just like a tool, right? It's like one shitty tool that is very shitty compared to magic, but it's something I can use. And I do have many other strengths besides magic, like my winning personality and my big damn heart. And I can collaborate with people I trust. I gotta find more of those, not the mermaids, but I think some of those wizards are pretty good. And maybe a grassroots coven is a good idea. Like, maybe some of y'all would be interested in starting something like international, like I said, that actually does, you know, work in a new form of hierarchy or magic, local magic organizing, and global magic organizing, I think. And be my own coven and my own magical party. And voting is a moment, but magic is life. And I do thank you for this because my magic is going to grow, I guess, whether or not I am past these current examinations, because it just got to, hasn't it? Once I'm my own coven, and maybe I've been spending way too much time trying to get approval from all these other spaces when I've been doing it all on my own this entire time. So with that, I'll just say, thank you for your remarks. They are now irrelevant to me. And I am going to go off and do that local organizing, because this work and these presentations have maybe been a distraction from the true heart of it all. So I thank you, witches, and I want to thank again my familiar, who he is truly incredible, and maybe one day he'll be. Don't worry, he is not the Scarlet Witch's son. That is not who he is. He is very trustworthy in this space, and the two of us, I think we've got some other work to do. So thank you, and be safe out there. Bye.
Welcome to this NeoLex seminar, intended to introduce newly referred prospective clients to our work here at NeoLex. The seminar will begin shortly. Hello, and welcome to this NeoLex referral seminar. If you are here, that means you have been given a referral link by one of our current valued clients and are here to learn more about NeoLex. My name is Helena. As a NeoLex client liaison, I aim to make every part of clients' experiences with NeoLex as smooth and as comfortable as possible. I was selected as your liaison today in part for my turquoise hair, oversized glasses, rounded face and femme appearance, which puts people at ease whilst also conveying trust and reliability. Let's begin. We would like to know how, as newcomers to the NeoLex family, you view NeoLex. If invited to describe NeoLex, what phrase would you use? The advanced language skills we are able to offer our clients are thanks to our access to a unique, exclusive, and extra-dimensional language. NeoLex is able to grant clients access to new elements of language, from words to tenses and more, that can radically change their world. Secondly, why are you interested in becoming a NeoLex client? We find most of our clients are looking for a greater sense of control and agency in their lives. By way of demonstration, we have a few words and phrases cleared to use on this call today. These exemplify the forms of influence NeoLex products can grant our clients. Please choose the word you would like to see in action. I will perform the demonstration as a safe, cleared, and acclimated user of language from the relevant dimensions. The word has been chosen. The word is this word interacts with my surroundings to give it and myself a crystalline and structure and various associated traits, such as increased resilience. Now, we understand you likely have questions about NeoLex and how our clients experience our business. We are often asked about the safety of our language, the security of transdimensional activity, how healthy it is to utilize language from other dimensions, and the purpose of the privacy around NeoLex's operations. Now that you are a little more familiar with what we do here, we would like to open up the floor to questions. We may not have time to answer everyone's questions, but you are welcome to submit anything you would like to ask or know about NeoLex now. Unfortunately, here we are. Apologies, there seem to be some issues with answering your questions on NeoLex.
Hello everyone. You don't know me. I'm not from NeoLex, so I'm not a client, definitely not a future client, but I have important information you should know before you let these people into your world and into your head. Let's step back from the official seminar, shall we, and let you ask the actually important questions. You can ignore your friendly liaison staff are there for now. I've severed her audio feed. Go on. What would you like to know the truth about? How about I let Neolex themselves answer that one?
Apologies while we just get some control over this presentation.
How about I let Neolex themselves answer that one?
Neolex auto log, address to, company CEO, from, Research and Development Department. Content, current island location decimated by unstable language. Uninhabitable to life and currently being secured and shut down. Language from Reality X 382 deemed highly unsafe.
One final thing. Maybe those at Neolex wouldn't have such utter confidence in their product if they were on the receiving end of it, if they weren't in control of it. So how about it? I've come across a few words from a few different universes that I am sure our liaison officer here would just love to be a test subject for, wouldn't you? So go on everyone, why don't you choose?
Due to technical problems, we must prematurely conclude this seminar. Neolex apologises for any inconvenience. Dates for new seminars will be released soon.
Hey everyone. And I'm so happy right now. They were all such amazing performances, and I'm flying high. That was really exciting. I'm gonna invite everyone who performed to talk over their piece a little, if you want to. Also, no pressure. I know that it feels very intense after having performed. Um, we have a bit of time for Q&A. We have the YouTube chat available on anthropology.com/scratch if you're on the website, but also if you're on YouTube, you can just put comments in the chat on YouTube. We'll see them either way. But yeah, we could go in order, I think. Like, Erin, did you want to say a little bit about your piece?
Sure. So I was most interested in looking at how I could use like these tools to have people who are on a video call interacting with people playing one character, but being multiple bodies playing one character over text. Unfortunately, I had a lot of problems with my script that meant that I didn't get to test all of the different ways that I had hoped to test how that might work. But I'm still very interested in it and what it means to have some people playing characters using voice and video, and some people playing characters using text, and some people playing one body to a character, and some people playing multiple bodies to a character.
Yeah, thank you. I was just dealing with echo there. Tom, let me know if I still have echo. Let's who wants to talk through their piece next?
If we're going
Go ahead.
chronologically, I can
Yeah,
go
thank
next.
you.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I think my impetus was similar to Erin in so far as I was just very interested in what interact like how to break down the potential, not artifice of like the online interaction, but like how can the audience kind of feel like they're engaged and feel like they're involved without having to suspend their disbelief too much. And so it was like, I don't have the money or the time to make a background. So what story can I tell from my room? How can the kind of Zoom environment become a part of that narrative was one thing. And I also like what story can take audiences to weird emotional places. And hopefully that was one. The thing to say that didn't happen, but would have also been quite cool, is exploring and showing how the emotion of the character is being shaped by the choices, not just through performance, but like with game-like systems of showing you like I'd love to eventually do this where you can see Mr. Key's like emotional scale, and see if the audience's decisions change based on where he is. If they realize, oh, we've just made him sadder, then are they more amenable? Are they less? Do they care at all? Were the kind of things that were shaping the writing process. But it's so lovely seeing how everybody responded so differently. And with that, I'll pass on to whoever is next.
Yeah, Meghna, do you fancy talking about your piece a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. But I just wanted to just point out with CJ's piece, I really loved when it just kind of descended into like the students chatting. And I think that's so fun and so interesting as well. Like, you know, you present it as this kind of writing, but then obviously like this is what people do. And the fact that like the, you know, kind of being bothersome students that are not paying attention, I think is also a really lovely frame to give the audience to kind of play with, right? And I think, yeah, which kind of goes into like the whole approach of this, that the audience kind of having a role, which is really exciting. For me, I mostly I work in digital games, and so the interactivity is the bit that I'm really familiar with as a narrative designer, but I was so excited by the liveness of this. And I have to say, as I didn't really think about this initially, but the more I kind of got into this piece, I really got interested in possibility, like developing it future and thinking about kind of hybrid design, because I love the way that this kind of widens access. But you know, I think because the thing that I'm missing in my practice is that in-person liveness of kind of traditional theatre. And so I was kind of really interested in that. But yeah, I think yeah, in some ways this is I think as I was writing this, I really loved the kind of, you know, having the gamey structure of going into dreams, but really it turned into much more a kind of confessional that's also like a kind of request for forgiveness in a way. And really, how do we all feel about our jobs and our lives at this present moment? Which I think is pretty relatable, even though her job is kind of ridiculous. But then again, so is mine. Yeah, it was really fun. And I'm really excited about all of the directions it can go. And I think I really loved, I think particularly kind of this character being in stasis and then the audience's choices kind of moving her into crisis, and almost this kind of oppositional feeling as well, like, because nobody loves it when someone gives them real truths, I think, like, even if they're necessary. And I really loved that kind of combativeness that developed between her and the audience as well, and for that to go in multiple directions. But yeah, that's me, and I will pass on to our lovely witch Juniper.
Hello. Yeah, so I am an okay Zoomer. I actually, in the pandemic, I performed on Zoom twice a week during lockdown, and I still host events. I'll be having a Zoom holiday event, and I've performed over 115 episodes of my, universe over Zoom. And so actually in 2020, I created a piece called The Monster, which is a choose your own adventure story about me versus the voices in my head. And we used it over Zoom. We did polling and we did chat prompts, basically, and so I feel, as we all know, like the Zoom platform is very user friendly. Like I feel like maybe like Zoe and I tricked them into thinking that I'm really good at tech. I'm not. So honestly, when we sort of got this assignment and looking through it, I was like, my goal is to just do it, because like low key, like opening terminal in general just makes me want to like cry human tears. Like I don't like, it scares me. So I when I first performed on Zoom, I basically did it. I made a post on Facebook that was like, I'm hosting an online show, like literally on the first day of lockdown. And I did it not for people to go to it, but to seem like I was relevant and that I'm a performance artist. I'm an immersive theater maker. That's like interactive performance is what I do. I didn't think people would come, but 30 people came. So I like read from my journal. I had nothing planned. And then people were like, oh, we'll help you build these and we'll keep doing it. So basically, in working on this, I was like, I'm gonna treat this like my first Zoom performance where like, if I can just do it and like accept any like failings or mistakes that I might make, then that would be great. So it was about like going from like literally being like, I'm gonna tell Zoe I can't do it. It literally went from that to being like, I'm just gonna flow. So that was essentially the tech mode or the operations mode for this. And then of course, like in terms of like content, I was like, I love spooky season. So naturally I want to do something celebratory, and thinking about how it might be folks who live in the UK entirely here. I was like, that's a fun dynamic to explore what's happening where I am. And everything that I do generally in a nutshell is like tee-hee-hee, like super personal stuff that actually is almost always global, regarding politics and social justice and things like that. So that part, writing the script and understanding the choose your own adventure, was super fun and accessible for me. And then it was just like, all right, can I try this? Can I like have like Zoe? I want to thank them so much for holding my hand so much and being so kind to me while I was like, I don't understand. So yeah, it was like a big deal that I could do it. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Your piece was amazing. Yeah, sorry, and we got some nice comments in the chat. Laura said that she definitely wanted to find out more about Neolex, which we'll talk about in a sec. and that CJ's piece was so good, really brilliant use of the medium. All the pieces were so different and interesting. Jill said the pieces were also creative, mind expanding, and engaging. And also, like, I've come across this before, like, it can be hard to tell whether the lag is part of the piece or whether, like, it's happening, like, by accident. And sometimes it, like, and like it's nice if it's intentional to like flag it. But then also sometimes I like the unexpectedness of like, oh, we're just holding this like moment a little while longer. And like it builds and builds and feels really interesting. We have yeah, Squinky points out that we have a 20-second lag because of the live stream. And it'd be nice to figure out how to communicate this. There are like, you can have different settings so that the lag is like a lot shorter as well, but there's a cost to that. Like you can end up losing the stream if you do it that way. Yeah. Chloe,
Would you
did you
like-
want, go ahead?
Yeah, should I say a couple of bits about my bits and pieces?
Yeah.
So yeah, my background is in interactive theatre and live gaming, but also hybrid gaming. So I did a lot of Zoom shows and hybrid Zoom and real life shows over the past few years. So I quite enjoy fiddling around with tech and such like. So I wanted to kind of have a little play around with the idea that the choices people were making would affect some of the effects and bits and pieces that they see on screen. And as it happened, I was already kind of working on the idea of Neolex as a company, something to do games with in Inky when Zorander asked me to get involved in this. So I was like, this is a perfect match of bits and pieces. But I also, because like some folks have talked about the kind of structure that the like anthropology kind of format gives you. And I was really curious about what would sit right in that, because obviously you've got the thing of like there's multiple choices, but it's going to go to whichever choice the most people have chosen, rather than, so like not everyone's always going to get their choice kind of borne out, and what scenarios help to kind of justify and give that sense. And like a corporate thing that's like kind of asking your opinion, but is it really asking your opinion, kind of fits in there a little bit. And I often end up exploring going a few levels back, which is why there's the kind of faux hacking in the piece, because also I wanted to see what it felt like if you're making choices when you're guided by this person, and then you're making choices that are opened up to you by a very different figure, including like the one at the end, which is all of the choices are the same, and how that feels, because I'm really curious about yeah, just precisely how they feel in terms of like being instructions and permissions for the players. So I think that's largely where that came from, and just me kind of messing around a little bit with OBS and such like, and seeing how hard I can make my job, basically.
Yeah, I really loved the way that you used those like those different character positions to like, yeah, and they're sort of battling for the audience. I think it's power that comes from the audience somehow. Yeah, that they want a hand in. Yeah. I'm just going to check Discord in case there are any questions or comments there. I don't see anything.
But
Yeah.
also on Chloe's piece, like I really love it's just the entire premise of the, you know, so there is something kind of deeply cosmic horror about like a corporate event like that, right? And it's played so straight most of the time, and I think it's just really lovely to have that, and then kind of have it break down into extra dimensional beings and like this entire kind of narrative around it. Whereas actually the most horrifying part is not that, it's actually just the corporate environment. But also it's so fancy, Chloe, like, you know, just all of these effects coming in, and you really see how powerful it can all be when you like bring in all of that stuff together. Because like mine was so limited by, I was just like, I just need to have one person. Even another person is like too many things. And I gave up on even turning on and off my light at one point. Okay, so but yeah, no, so it was really, really powerful. And the distorted voice I thought was so great as well.
Thank you. GarageBand is an incredible tool. It's a wonderful thing. But yeah, like really briefly on that note, something that I think is really nice, because like we were talking about lag and everything earlier, is that something I've sometimes like been frustrated with by like hybrid or digital work in the past is this drive for people to use like their visual tools and stuff to try and create something that's like perfect and looks so slick and so incredible, and it all syncs up and all of this stuff. Whereas I think like that limits you so much. And there's so much, like, just because it's kind of digital and on a screen, there's a weird different relationship that some people have of wanting it to be polished in a different way. And I think there's such a nice thing of just accepting that it can still be, there's still going to be like lags, or there's still going to be messiness, or there's still going to be things that don't quite like match up, etc. And yeah, it's really fun to play with tools like this, just freely like acknowledging that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was so great to like, yeah, see through your piece some of that potential of like, okay, what can you do through OBS? Like, because that was a big part of what we recently added to the way that we've built this, just for this particular project, was like, okay, we're going to move away from, we used to have like a video call integrated in that web page. And yeah, now it's a stream so that we can get all of that potential in from OBS. And it was so great to see some of that play out in your piece. PJ asks Erin, a hive mind in the context of dating is very interesting. What led you to want to explore that? And for you, does that relate to the interactivity of the performance? Yeah, that's sort of like, and it connects with a question that I have about like how like all these pieces have a relationship with the audience somehow that's like explicitly called out, but it's slightly different for each one. And I wonder if that was part of the hive mind thing for you, Erin.
Yeah, so it was really important to me from very early on that the audience were going to be players, not audience. And so if you're a player and you're playing a game and you didn't know before you were turning up tonight that you were going to be a player, you are a person sat at either a phone or a computer. So, and also like Chloe said, the choices that you make might not actually get like provide anything meaningful. They might get ignored, and other people who are making the same choices might get them listened to. And so the justification for that is you're a hive mind. Sometimes you disagree with other members of your hive mind, but the like momentum of the majority keeps you in flow. And so as you're a member of your hive mind, you're sat at your computer or your phone. And so it became about dating because that is a fun thing, I think, for a hive mind to do, which involves sitting in front of their computer or their phone.
I almost want to like throw a wider question from that to everybody, insofar as like I've been watching a lot of Dropouts Dungeons and Dragon recently. A, just to get into it. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but B, because I needed some light-hearted good comedy, and Dropout's great. We're not being sponsored. This is off my own back, selling this love. And Brennan Lee Mulligan like always talks about DMing as like yes-anding. And in many ways, like as a writer, that's what I felt like I was doing. It was like, what have you given us, Zayander? And how can I kind of yes and that? And I was almost a little bit disappointed in my creative capacity. Like everything I began to write kind of fell within the real world. And I guess it'd be lovely to hear, because everybody's was so freaking creative in like where you took those stories. And it'd be interesting to hear if these were like the first ideas, how did you, if this is your approach, yes and yourself into these like very wild, wonderful worlds.
We all being like really polite and not wanting to be the first person. I mean, if that's the case, I'll very quickly, but like because I kind of semi-covered, I'd already been like developing something in Inky, which is you're training to be a customer services rep for Neolex. So you're going through records of those types of conversations and complaints, but about very weird, horrible things. And to be honest, all of it's come out of I like some recent projects that I've worked on. I've become more and more fascinated by language as power, as a colonialist and also anti-colonialist tool of, you know, historically kind of wiping out languages and such like, and then just really curious about what that can look like if you take it extra dimensional, which is more just that's where my brain naturally goes after like 8 years of D&D and fantasy and LARP and reading cosmic horror and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I think a lot of it came from there, and the specific of like having a seminar and being like, how would you describe this? What does this mean to you? Was very much more what feels right for the structure of the choices, etc. But that's kind of where things came from for me.
On YouTube, Caitlin just added that the Hivemind dating reminds them of having a set of friends look at screenshots of dating profiles of people you're interested in, and the videos on TikTok where people review dating profiles. And they also ask, like, what kinds of things would you have wanted to know about the audience before or during the performance?
If they liked it, it's very hard. Like, I'm used to theater where audiences respond. It's very hard not seeing people's faces.
I think there's something fun about being. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Go ahead. No, please.
I was gonna say, so CJ, what I did was I made my Juniper screen very, very small so that I could see y'all's faces on the Zoom, because I am the same. And through my theater, sometimes I do polls via like language from Occupy Wall Street, which is also American Sign Language, like up twinkles if you want to do it, down twinkles if you don't, mid twinkles if you're mid, you know, and just sort of like, it's so like having the Zoom is so like valuable for me because of that. Just like, are they? And I could see you guys smiling and, you know, engaging. And I was like, cool. Cause it does feel it was so interesting. Like Xander, like both times I've done Assigned Earth at Birth, it's like, but in the theater, when we did it in Arizona, it was awesome because we were all together typing and responding, and that was so fun. So it's interesting of how to keep, you know, when we can see each other, it does, for those who choose to be present, you know, when we're doing the chat, like as we're typing together, that part does feel a little more communal because you can respond to each other. And that's a nice kind of cameras off, you know, no visibility, but presence. And like when I'm Zooming, I like, that's what the chat prompts are for, or for my cameras off people who don't want to be seen. But so, yeah, it's interesting too, because as a performer, what are the ways that we remotely get energy, you know, from, from our audience. So I was like, fuck this. I'm going to look at them because that will really help me. Yeah.
It's so funny. I guess I'm so used to not at all being in the room with people who are experiencing like the digital game I've made, right? And I'm not really a performer. And so actually there was a feeling of like safety. I just kind of had to like, I'm doing it in my own head and I'm not worrying about, and I'm going to assume somehow that just the fact that I think for me, like seeing the vote numbers go up was in itself like a feeling of, all right, there's engagement and responsiveness. And I didn't want to look at anyone at all. But yeah, no, it's a kind of, I mean, I'm sure a really interesting question for folks who are much more used to all of the pleasures of like in-person interaction.
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear about that contrast between like yeah, depending on what your background is, like how does this work with your like how you're used to working, and how does it work against it, and like in what ways is that generative, and in what ways is it okay, no, there's something missing here that like we need to build into this, or that we need to work around. And I kind of like the idea that for some people having an audience group in the Zoom is helpful, just for like having that sense that you're being held by a set of people whose faces you can see and who you're in like closer dialogue with. Yeah, it's so many interesting like directions that this could go in terms of how we develop it further. I wanted to invite everyone to like plug their next project. Like, what is it that you're working on now? Have you got anything coming up that people should check out? Maybe we'll go from the top to the bottom again. So, Erin, do you have anything?
It's sound design rather than something that I actually wrote, like this was. But there, if you could be literally anywhere in the world, if you were anywhere close to Hull right now, I did the sound design for an interactive horror audio walk around the city, which is going on until the 1st of December. It's on echoes.xyz, and you can just download the app, and it's entirely free. It's sort of Magnus Archives influence, if that's your jam.
How about you, CJ?
I am in hibernation, but if anybody would like to see work some point in the future, then my website is cjsimonwrites at nothing. It's not at anything. It's cjsimonwrites.com. I was thinking about my email. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, awesome. Meghna?
I'm currently working on a game called All Will Rise, which is very early days, but it's kind of set in a speculative version of Cochin, and it's about taking the powerful and wealthy to court for their climate crimes, which is very fun. So we start with like this river rights case. The river has been given the right of legal personhood. 3 months later, it's set on fire. And over the course of this narrative deck builder, we get to take what is definitely not for legal reasons an Adani or an Ambani vice chairman to court for murder. So that's quite fun. But yeah, and I think we will possibly be launching a Kickstarter around that soonish, but I'm on Twitter and now horrifyingly LinkedIn, because we're trying to get money to make a game, and everyone with money is on LinkedIn. So I am too, I guess. So yeah, find me there.
It feels so weird promoting like anti-capitalist work on LinkedIn. But like sometimes you've got to do it. Siobhan?
Yeah, so I run a phone banking team called the Misfits for Democracy, and we are a bunch of radicals. And we started as a group of creative Bernie bros back in 2020 who were very, 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 very like when it low-key upset is not like high-key upset about losing him in April of 2020. And so we came together to actually phone bank for Joe Biden to defeat Trump. And since then, we've done many other political campaigns in, just basically trying to prevent Republican victories in swing states and crucial elections. So we are calling for Harris, which is the worst campaign I've ever worked on, given what's happening in the world right now and how and the divide between the left, is always the same, but there's a lot of pushback about what we're doing, which sucks because we don't like her either. But yeah, that's what we do. So we utilize our experiences in Theater of the Oppressed and other, basically our creative training to do what is called deep canvassing, right? So we get on the phones and we spend a lot of time talking to people and really relating to them and not passing judgment, even though when I tell you they say the most craziest shit, like they say the most craziest shit. And we have to be like, me too. Me too. I definitely think that. And however, here's why I'm voting for her, So that's my project till currently. And then in the Discord, I have placed my socials and my mailing list and that sort of thing. So you can see what I'm up to next year, which actually might involve, I'm like emails I need to follow up on, doing my show in a bathtub in the UK based, if I follow through with this thing. So I might be on the other side of the pond in 2025.
That would be
Oh,
amazing.
please say hello if you are. I'm in London, so yeah, and all of these guys.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bunch of us trying to see your show when that happens. Chloe?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, for anyone who is in London or is near London, my day job is running pretend spaceships as one of the team at Bridge Command, which is like a spaceship simulator experience in Vauxhall. It's kind of a mix of live action and video game, because basically you go onto a full-scale spaceship set. We have a digital bridge simulation, so you are being like the helm, the navigator, the science officer, the comms officer, etc. But there's also live actors who are running the game from behind the scenes or interacting with you as characters. And so anyone fancies that, that's where I'm normally found. But if you're not around London, or spaceships aren't particularly your thing, then if you go to rollflipdraw.itch.io, that's where I publish tabletop role-playing games and sometimes LARPs. And it's probably the kind of, I haven't published anything there for a while, but there is some stuff coming soon. There is. I keep telling myself I'm going to finish these projects. So yeah, there's bits and pieces of my work over there.
Fantastic. Unless anyone wants to jump in with another question, I think I will do our shout outs and thank yous and then wrap up. So I'm going to take a breath for anyone to jump in if they have anything. No? Okay. So I want to make sure that we've thanked our technical director, Emily, and our technicians, Tom and Riker, who did an incredible job today with so many variables and unpredictable elements. Like, I am in awe of like how smoothly this went. Like, you've done an amazing job. The software that this is all running on, that we were testing for this, came out of a collaboration between me and Dietrich Swinkofer, also known as Swinky. It's based on their MFA project back in 2014. And this was all part of us trying to learn what features we need to build into it next. So this is a really good moment for us to receive feedback from audiences as well as the artists. We're going to be in touch with the artists anyway, but if anyone watching this has feedback or ideas, get in touch with us. We are Intropology on Instagram and TikTok, and contact@intropology.com by email, or join our Discord via the Patreon. Our next event for Intropology is on the 21st of November. It will be a full-length episode of our show Intropology, which is about finding out you're an alien who was sent to Earth to study humans. We're actually going to make a whole other episode. And we're about to go into a very intense period of a few weeks, at the end of which we will have told a whole other story about trying to find hope in a world that feels like it's breaking. So yeah, please join us for that. More information about that on intropology.com. And our Patreon is patreon.com/intropology. And I think I will wrap up there. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you all for watching as well. And yeah, I'm gonna
Thank
go.
you, Zoyander, for bringing us all together as well. Thank you to you.
Yes.
Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you. I am so grateful to all of you for like being up for this and rolling with the punches when things like have been as chaotic as working with young open source software can be. You've all done amazing work, and I could not be happier. So I'm going to go skip off into the rest of my day now. Let's say goodbye.